Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Danielle and I'm so glad that you found your way to this video. And if you're returning today, then hey friend, I hope you're doing well. This is going to be my third update for my Pan That Palette projects. This year I am panning ABH Soft Glam and I am panning ABH Norvina in order. Taylor Buell is the creator for the Pan That Palette in Order project, and I always have her channel linked in the description. I will also have my own Pan That Palette playlist linked somewhere so that you can check it out if you haven't yet seen my introduction where I go a bit more in depth about my rules for these projects, or if you just want to catch up on the progress that I've made so far this year. This month was a bit of a shorter month for me because I did film my last Pan That Palette update a little bit later. It was like 2 weeks later than I typically like to film my updates. So I actually went ahead and waited an extra week this month to give myself 3 weeks to get some progress made. And then next month I will be back on schedule. I usually like to film these updates on the first Friday of every month. So it'll be a little bit shorter for the month of April, but it'll still actually be 4 weeks. So hopefully we'll still have some time to make some good progress, but I just did want to update you on that. But with all of that preface out of the way, let's just go ahead and hop on into it. We'll go ahead and start off with Soft Glam. So here's what it was looking like last month. And here is how it is looking now. So there are a couple of very exciting changes in this palette, but I'm going to go ahead and start with Tempera as always. So my goal for Tempera this month was to hit side pan on the top here and then to clear out this top left-hand corner. I was able to do that this month, so that's very exciting, and I'm glad to see that I'm still making consistent progress in this shade. My goal for this month is to begin clearing out this top right-hand corner, and actually if I could get it all worn down to the point where I just have this bottom part of the pan left, that would be very exciting. So that's my goal for Tempera for this month. It only took me 10 uses to get that upper left hand part of Tempera cleared out this month. So I'm hopeful that I should be able to do this before next time. Next up, we have Glistening. My goal was to use Glistening 3 times this month, but I was only able to use it twice. However, I was able to expand pan a noticeable amount, so that was very exciting. And my goal for this month is just to use it another 3 times since I wasn't quite able to meet that goal in the past few weeks. Hopefully in those 3 uses, I'll be able to expand pan even further. Next is Orange Soda, and last month I set the goal to be focusing on these 6 pans right here. And Orange Soda was one of the ones I wanted to really be intentionally beginning to use more frequently. I do feel that I was able to do that as I used it 7 times in the past month. And I would like to just continue doing that. And I would like to begin to see more of a substantial dip in this shadow. I don't think that I'll be able to hit pan within the next month, but if I could get a good dip going, then perhaps I can hit pan the following month. Orange Soda is not my favorite shade in this palette, so I generally like to just use it as a very light wash on the lid before I go in with a deeper crease color. Because of that, I go in with a really fluffy blending brush so that it's applied pretty sheerly, and that just takes a bit longer to get some good movement going in matte shadows like that. So that's why there isn't a huge dip in it yet, but I'm hoping that if I continue to use it, then hopefully by next month we'll be in a place where we can maybe be angling to hit pan on it. Next we have Rose Pink. My goal for this shade was to expand pan this month, and I think I can confidently say that I was able to do that this month. We basically have side pan going on both the left side and on the top. I used it 7 times this month and it went very quickly as soon as I started to use it very frequently. I actually like to layer Rose Pink over Orange Soda. They create a very nice look together. Even though Rose Pink is a shimmer, I use it basically as a satin, it can be sheared out in very much the same way. So I like how those two look together, and I'm planning to continue doing that this month. I would kind of like to do the same thing with rose pink as my goal is with tempera. I would like to clear out the whole top part of the pan so that I'm left with just the bottom. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm beginning to wonder if my prediction that tempera would be the first to go will actually be wrong, that I'll actually be able to finish rose pink first. That's what I'm gunning for. We'll see if I'm able to do it. It just, because of the chunkier formula, it moves much more quickly than a matte. So very happy with that progress and hoping I can keep it going next month. Next we have Sultry. My goal was to use it 3 times this month and I only used it once. So I'm going to keep my goal the same, to use it 3 times. I think it should be an easy one to begin pairing, especially with rose pink. So if I could start to get some good use on that one, then I would feel very happy. I'm not sure, but perhaps I could even hit pan on it this month. We'll see how that goes. Maybe that's a bit too ambitious, but I think it could be one that could go a bit more quickly, just like rose pink. Next is the shade Bronze. My goal this month was to use it twice, and again, I only used it once. I have been focusing a bit on the pinker looks, as I think you can tell with rose pink. And my goal is to continue doing that because I would like to keep getting the same type of progress I have been getting. If I could just use it twice this month, I would be happy. Maybe give me a little bit of variety on a couple of days rather than just pink all the time. Again, I did not use Mulberry, Cypress Umber, or Noir this month as I'm not actively panning those shades. So next we have Dusty Rose. I used Dusty Rose 3 times this month, and I might have a little bit of expansion of pan going, but not much different than last month. I pretty naturally reach for Dusty Rose with rose pink, and then also with the Divine Rose palette, which is in my Project 100 uses. So I'm not too concerned about assigning a specific goal, and I'll just continue using it naturally for now. Next we have Fairy, and my goal was to hit pan, and I was able to do that. I only had to use it 2 more times before hitting pan, so that's very exciting. It's a very small pan, but pan nonetheless. So my goal for this month is to use it at least 3 times to start to see some expansion of pan, just like with glistening. Next we have Burnt Orange, and my goal was to use it 3 times, and I used it 4 times this month. This is another one that I reach for pretty naturally, especially as part of this Focus 6 pan that I have going on. So I'm not concerned about setting a specific goal for it this month. It's one of my favorite mattes in this palette. There may be a slight expansion in pan, but not a whole lot. It looks pretty much the same as it did last month, I think. And for now, I'm fine with that. I would like to have it for some time in this project, actually, because I really enjoy it. I know it's one that I'll be able to finish up. Next is Sienna, and my goal was to use it 3 times this month, which I did, and I was also able to hit pan. It's a very tiny pan, and that's because I use it most on the outer V and then also under the lash line. My goal for this month is to get a bit more expansion in pan. I would like to use it at least 5 times to see if we can get some more movement going, but it was an exciting surprise to be able to hit pan and Sienna this month. So even though it's a little bit of a tunnel pan, I'm very happy about it. And last but not least, we have Rustic. I was able to use Rustic 2 times this month, and my goal this time is to hit pan. It's actually not looking too far from pan, and it's one that I do really enjoy using. So I don't think it should be that hard to hit pan on it this month. It pairs really nicely with those in my Focus 6 pan here, as well as with bronze. So it should give me a wide variety of looks. And it's again one of my favorite mattes in this palette. So I'll be excited to be able to get some good use on it this month to be able to show some shiny pan. So that's it for Soft Glam, and now we'll move on to Norvina, which I am panning in order. So this is how I was looking last month. Hey friends, so I am currently preparing to film my Project 100 Uses update, and I was doing my makeup for this video and something happened. I'm sure you can guess what that something is, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you. As you can see, I was finally able to hit pan in summer, and I mentioned in my last video that I was kind of going back and forth about whether or not to roll in a new shadow as soon as I had hit pan on summer. I had actually kind of settled just in the past several days to not roll in another shadow and just to stick with summer, and if I hit pan to just continue working on other things. But this was my first use of summer since filming my Pan That Palette update. Because this is so close to when I filmed my Pan That Palette update, and then I actually just posted it earlier today, because all of these things are just happening in such quick succession, I am going to just go ahead and roll in Wild Child so that I can have a couple of weeks of working on that. Of course, it won't be as much progress probably as it would be if I had a full month of working on Wild Child, but because this palette has more shades in it than the amount of months that we have in the year, I just want to go ahead and begin working on it to hopefully work through it a bit quicker. And who knows, I might be able to hit pan on Wild Child quicker than I was on Summer. Similarly to Dreamer. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch Wild Child now, and we can take a look together at what that formula looks like, and perhaps I can give you an idea of how quickly or slowly it'll take, but of course it's all just up to the makeup gods. Already I can tell you that Wild Child feels drier in pan than Summer does. I'm not sure how exactly it's looking on camera, but this is definitely a kind of cool toned bubblegum type of pink that has a bit of a gold reflect, or at least a warm pink one. I'll be able to tell a bit better in different lighting. But the most notable thing I think about Wild Child, from what I can tell so far, is that it is pretty sheer, especially in comparison to Summer. I had to build this swatch up a few times to get it to this opacity. So that's actually good news for me, because if it's requiring me to use more of it each time I dip in, then I can use it up in fewer uses. Hopefully I can probably incorporate it in more looks than you would think looking at the color if it is a bit more sheer. All of that is good news, and I am kind of excited to start incorporating this and even to pair it with some of the pinks in the Divine Rose palette, which I'm working on in my 100 Uses Project Pan. Very excited about this. I'm looking forward to starting to figure out how to use it. And now I'll just send you on back to the future to see what the progress is looking like so far. Okay, y'all, I've used Wild Child 5 or 6 times so far, and I really can't see much progress. There's just like the slightest dip in the shade to show that I've used it at all. I think that's because I've been using it mostly as a topper kind of shade. It does take a bit to build up when I use it as the primary shimmer for a look, but obviously if I'm using it as a topper, it takes a little bit less product. Wild Child was one of the shades I was least looking forward to in this palette, actually. Bubblegum pink just isn't usually my vibe, and I've been getting a lot of very pink looks lately. So I would really like to focus heavily on this shade this month so that I can hit pan and roll it out next time. So April is gonna be real pink. We're gonna have a lot of pink looks going on, and hopefully next time I can roll in Rose Gold, which is one that I'm really excited about in this palette. So that will be a good prize for hitting goal on Wild Child. And that's everything. So please remember to stick around and take a look at those comparison photos if you're interested. See them all lined up next to each other to see how my progress has been going these past few months. And if you are doing a Pan That Palette project this year, I would love to hear how it's going for you. So please comment below and maybe even leave your YouTube channel link or your Instagram handle, and I would love to see your progress. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.